Let me tell you something the media would never dare say out loud. The next financial crisis is not a prediction. It's not a possibility. It's not some economist's dramatic headline. It's a scheduled event, and the most powerful people on Earth are already preparing to profit from it, while everyone else parades around pretending the good times will last forever. You want the blunt truth? The 2026 collapse won't be an accident. It will be a harvest. But here's the part almost nobody understands. Every collapse throughout history, 1929, 2000, 2008, didn't destroy wealth. It transferred it from the optimistic to the prepared, from the emotional to the informed, from the many to the few. The question you need to answer, right now, is simple. When the transfer happens this time, are you on the receiving end or the losing one? Take a breath. Because once I show you the mechanisms already in motion, you might never look at markets, or the people who control them, the same way again. People believe crashes come from nowhere. That's the first lie. Every crisis begins with a secret timeline, one the public never sees, but the institutions do. And while the public is celebrating record highs, insiders are quietly repositioning for the downfall. You think the wealthy become wealthy by chance? By luck? By being smarter than everyone else? Cute theory. No. They're handed the script. The rest of society? They're handed distractions. The government tells you to keep spending. The banks tell you to keep borrowing. Influencers tell you to keep gambling on hype. Because your belief keeps the system alive. But deep inside that same system, the exit doors are slowly closing. Look closely and you'll see it. Companies laying off workers while their stock hits all-time highs. Consumer debt exploding while wages stagnate. Governments celebrating growth, fueled entirely by borrowing. That is not prosperity. That is the life support machine of a dying economy. And the plug is already halfway pulled. But let's slow down. To understand how you can get rich during the collapse, you need to understand who built the collapse and why they want it. Here's a truth that will make some people very uncomfortable. The system was designed to fail. Not by mistake, not by incompetence, by architecture. Ever since 1971, when the US dollar stopped being backed by gold, the economy has relied entirely on one drug: debt. More debt, then more, then more. The moment debt stops growing, the system crashes. So what do politicians and bankers do? They keep injecting it, even when the patient is brain dead. Debt is the fuel. Debt is the cage. Debt is the weapon. The only way to escape the consequences is to let the system collapse under its own weight. And then, reset. Rebuild. Reassign power. The elites aren't scared of the collapse. They need it. Because the crisis is when they buy everything back. Cheap. Now here's the important part. We're not waiting for 2026 to break the world. It already has. You just haven't seen the headlines yet. Inflation didn't cool down, it mutated. Prices stopped rising fast, but they never came back down. That's a permanent loss of purchasing power, a permanent transfer of wealth, and a permanent warning: your money is dying. Not quickly, quietly. Middle-class families feel it every day. The grocery bill that doubles, the rent that suffocates, the 40-year mortgage that never ends, the retirement account pretending everything's fine. If the average person is honest for 1 second, they'll admit the economy already collapsed. We're just delaying the obituary. Now you might be wondering, if the collapse is intentional, where does the opportunity come in? Great question. This is where things get interesting. When the crash hits, the majority will lose everything, not because the crash itself destroys them, but because they will react exactly how the system expects them to. They will freeze. They will panic. They will sell. They will scream, "This is the end." And the wealthy, the real wealthy, that will whisper, "This is the beginning." Because crashes don't create poverty, they expose it. The people who appear rich now, the ones flexing with debt, speculation, and illusions, will be the first to fall. But the quiet ones, the ones stacking cash, gathering information, preparing for blood in the streets, they will walk through the rubble, shopping, laughing, collecting the keys to assets the panicked public spent a lifetime chasing, handed over for pennies. Let me make this personal. If you are watching this video right now, you are already 10 steps ahead of the average investor. They won't believe a crisis is coming until the day it arrives, and by then, they'll be trapped in the exact position that benefits the system most, locked into overpriced assets, strangled by loans, dependent on a job that can vanish, and terrified of red numbers. Fear turns temporary drops into lifelong losses. But knowledge turns panic into wealth. This is the moment the wealthy have been rehearsing for. They already know. Every collapse has 3 stages. 1. Disbelief. This dip won't last. 2. Panic. Sell before everything disappears. 3. Resignation. We should have prepared. The elite operate in a 4th stage. 4. Accumulation. Thank you for the discount. And that stage is where new millionaires are minted. The ones who stay awake when everyone else sleeps. The ones who think ahead. The ones who refuse to be victims of a rigged game. Which side will you choose? Because the window is starting to close. Because now you understand the collapse isn't a bug in the system. It's the system completing its natural cycle. But here's where most videos leave you hanging. They warn you, they scare you, and then they tell you to subscribe and hope for the best. That's not how this works. To survive what's coming and to profit from it, you need a different mindset than the rest of the world. And that starts with recognizing the most dangerous belief in finance. The government will protect us. Please, if that were true, 2008 wouldn't have happened. Savings wouldn't be evaporating through inflation right now. And you wouldn't be watching this video searching for answers. The only thing governments protect is the system that keeps them in power. And when the system breaks, they save the institutions, never the citizens. You are not the priority. You are the liquidity. Look at how they condition the public. Buy the dip. Real estate always goes up. The economy is strong. Soft landing. Disinflation. Don't worry. Every slogan designed like a lullaby to keep you asleep, to keep you spending, to keep you complacent, right up until the moment the floor collapses beneath you. And when it does, they will tell you it was unpredictable. No one could have seen it coming. Just bad luck. Be patient. Trust the plan. But while they say that with a straight face, their friends will be buying everything you're forced to sell. Right now, you have something most people never get. Time. Time to position yourself. Time to shift your psychology. Time to learn how the rich move when everyone else panics. The wealthy are not reckless. They're predators of opportunity. They wait. They watch, they study. They strike only when the herd is blind with fear. We're entering that blindness soon. Here's what it looks like. Banks pretending losses don't exist. Retail investors drowning in credit card debt. Corporations surviving on loans they can't repay. Governments arguing while interest devours their budgets. These are cracks in the dam. Cracks growing wider every week. Eventually, something snaps, a shock, a trigger, a single domino that brings down the entire structure. And when that happens, everything people thought was wealth reveals itself as debt. Let me show you how different the wealthy think. Most people say, I'll make my move when the crash arrives. The wealthy say, I make my move before the crash and finish when everyone else is too afraid to breathe. See the difference? One reacts. One anticipates, one hopes. One prepares. One watches opportunity disappear. One seizes it before it's visible. The middle class waits for permission. The wealthy act before validation. And that is why their bloodlines extend through history, while the average family struggles paycheck to paycheck. Now, let's be practical. If you want to be one of the winners in 2026, there are 3 psychological shifts that must happen. First, you must detach your emotions from price. When assets fall, most people fall apart. They see losses, you must see discounts. Second, you must stop thinking like a consumer. Consumers accumulate liabilities disguised as dreams. Winners accumulate assets disguised as fear. Third, you must understand the cycle. Every bull market creates fake wealth. Every bear market reveals real wealth. This isn't optimism. This is law. There will come a moment, maybe in late 2025, maybe early 2026, when markets are bleeding, the media is panicking, and the public is begging for a rescue. That moment will feel like the end. It won't be. It will be the point of maximum opportunity. Most will sell, a few will buy. A lifetime of wealth will be decided, not by intelligence, not by luck, but by courage when it matters most. Maybe right now you're thinking, but I don't have enough money to take advantage of a crisis. Let me destroy that lie for you. You don't need a lot of money. You need the right timing with whatever you have. Every empire starts with a single seed, but most people never plant it because they're waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment never comes. The market doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards readiness. As we move closer to 2026, you'll notice something. The news will turn darker. The uncertainty will rise. People who once mocked risk will become paralyzed by it. The same friends bragging about stock gains now will beg for someone to buy their assets later. And the window for quiet accumulation will slam shut. There are very few moments in life when wealth is up for grabs. This will be one of them. You will either take it or watch someone else take it from you. The elites have already chosen their side. Now it's your turn. The storm is coming. Your destruction, or your defining moment, will depend on the decision you make before the panic hits. Because by the time everyone realizes what is happening, the rich will already be done shopping.